now, speaking of some MCU news, let's get into this MCU news. So the other day, when we did that whole chair thing, and I'll read you off the list of people who was officially a part of the cast. That because I did miss a couple, and I did say if y'all had known of any extra people, because look, the stream went on for 5.5 hours, unnecessarily so. I don't know why the hell this thing lasted 5.5 hours of y'all spending 12 minutes on 12 minutes per chair. That's literally what they spent on. I was like, okay, now it got a lot of people talking. 275 million people tune in with, on YouTube and on Twitter and all these other places combined. So yeah, it was cool that this thing got a lot of people talking. It got, it was trending all over social media, even though it cost y'all probably like $10 in a bag of Skittles to produce a damn, let's keep one camera on one chair when we got like 27 damn actors about to show up in Avengers Doomsday for 12 minutes. When y'all could have just did one big ass tracking shot and just like, that big old Marvel music, and then just panned across all the chairs. It would have been less than 5 minutes. And if people missed the chair, they can always rewind it a little bit back on the social media, whatever y'all watching on, and press pause. Or do what I did. I talked about, whatever ones that were revealed thus far, and I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna just wait the next day, and then I'm gonna just wait till all the names come out, and then we'll talk about it. And now here we are. So, because I ain't got time to be sitting up here and just watching a damn 5.5 hour live stream of a bunch of damn actors' chairs. So yeah. In addition to my little rant on that, uh, what had happened was apparently the minute, and I said this, I believe, on the last stream that I did regarding this story. The minute I saw Tenoch Huerta Mejia's name pop up, I was like, wait, I was shocked. I was like, Namor's going to be in this movie? The minute I saw that name, I was like, oh, here we go. Watch people bring up Jonathan Majors. Well, how come Tenoch got to be in the movie and y'all don't have Jonathan Majors up in the movie? And lo and behold, that's exactly, people are so damn predictable. Lo and behold, that's what happened. So Marvel fans all over the world were excited on Wednesday when the cast of the upcoming film Avengers Doomsday was announced. But conversations about the movie quickly took a turn thanks to the inclusion of one actor, namely Tenoch Huerta Mejia, and the exclusion of another, namely Jonathan Majors. It's no secret as to why Majors wasn't named in the laundry list of actors, just moments after he was convicted of reckless assault back in December 2023, stemming from his domestic dispute trial. The studio called one of his managers to tell him that they'll be parting ways and he'd no longer be playing to the coveted role of the next big bad King the Conqueror. I just realized they made a mistake because they said no longer be playing two coveted role. That don't even make sense, but I think they meant the. But anyway, as for Huerta, who played villain Namor in Black Panther Wakanda Forever back in, or they say Namor, but it's Namor, back in 2022, his return to the MCU only makes sense as it was clear from the aforementioned film. They made another mistake because they said form the aforementioned. This is why y'all need to proofread before y'all hit say, here I go being an English teacher. Grammar police. Is that as it was clear from the aforementioned film that the studio had plans to build upon his storyline. However, as many pointed out, not too many months after Major's allegations from his domestic dispute incident hit the internet, Huerta was hit with allegations of his own. So to be specific, an alleged ex-girlfriend of his accused him of SA in June of 2023. Huerta denied the allegations at the time, calling them false and offensive. Huerta nor his accuser have yet to go to court over the claims. Yet, and still, the memory of his allegations were still fresh on folks' minds when Marvel's new reveal hit the internet, and people took no time at all hopping on Twitter to call out the differences in how the giant studio was treating the two men. So one person put, hey, wasn't Tenoch accused of grape? And it's in caps, the RAPE. And another person said, if they announce Tenoch Huerta next to Jonathan Majors, stands are going to be insufferable. Mm-hmm. And like clockwork, they were. And another person said, there's no effing way Marvel gives Tenoch a chair without Disney being surefire about those allegations, right? And yeah, I did comment on this person's post, and they responded back. It was like, and in my opinion, is this: with the legal team that Marvel has, There's no way they didn't have their private investigators look into this before Tenoch was brought on board. So they can't afford, in my opinion, another scandal a la Majors. Plus, I also feel like the way that they handled Kang was a disaster. One of the things I will say that I could not stand was the fact that y'all had him up in that movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp, literally 20. I told y'all this before. I did not go to the movies to see it, but I watched it when it popped up on Disney Plus. So I was in the middle of doing some, work on my laptop and stuff, and I had it on. So I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm just like, this movie is terrible. Literally 20 minutes in, I checked out. It was literally background noise to me. I just had it on in the background as I was working. But the movie was bad. And then on top of that, the way that y'all handle Kang's supposed to be like this big bad in the same vein as like a Thanos. How the hell you getting beat by some third-rate superhero like a damn Ant-Man? Like, fuck out of here. So I'm sitting there watching it, and I love me some Paul Rudd. But, child, the way that you should not be given, like, no, Ant-Man should not be given his own movies. Like, nobody cares enough to want to sit through an Ant-Man movie and want to see it by itself. I understand, like, look, Marvel, MCU, y'all took a risk. Y'all were trying to give us like kind of these offbeat type characters to give them their solo films, but Ant-Man never really stood out for me as like one of those like, oh my God, I need to rush to the theater to go see an Ant-Man movie. Ant-Man should have been treated the same way that y'all did Black Widow and Hawkeye, which is he should have been like a side character that pops up with other people's shit. That's the way y'all should have did that. He should not have been given a solo film. Now, because I would say like the Hawkeye series that they had on TV, it was all right. Black Widow was okay, but the movie. And for the most part, some of y'all just work as a side character in other people's projects rather than getting your own solo stuff. So, and Ant-Man is one of them. He should have been a side character or just a secondary or third-rate character in somebody else's movie or TV show, wherever the hell y'all want to place him. And I'm glad that in a way that they're going to use him in some sort in Avengers Doomsday. But for the most part, I hated the way y'all dealt with his character. I can't really speak on Kang in Loki season 2 because I didn't really watch Loki season 2. Quiet as it's kept, I didn't even watch Loki season 1. I just didn't care. I mean, I like Tom Hiddleston and I like him as Loki, but I never cared enough to sit and watch a Loki TV series. He was never that guy that got me that excited to want to see a solo series with Loki in it. Like, he was good for being a thorn in Thor's ass. But as far as like his own show, no, I didn't care enough to watch it. So I don't know how his character was handled in that. I've heard people make opinions about it, but for the most part, I just felt like the way that y'all handled Jonathan Majors and his Kang role, why would y'all want to see Kang in another project when the way that these writers wrote him, I feel like y'all dropped the ball on it. So, and people need to realize this. So for y'all trying to wonder, in addition to the whole thing of like, yeah, Disney not wanting another scandal, like they had with Jonathan Majors, they actually waited until all the I's was dotted and all the T's was crossed in Jonathan's situation, legal situation, before they made the decision to be like, we're parting ways. I also think that the way they wrote the character was another reason. So I just thought that I think both those factors played into him being dismissed as Kang. But also, Tenoch hasn't been found guilty of anything. Jonathan Majors has. Also, we heard the audio a couple of days ago before when Magazine Dreams came, but if y'all love him, this is what I keep saying about y'all with this fake outrage. Oh, well, how come this one is this and this one this? Same thing I said about Melissa Barrera, I'm gonna say up in here about Jonathan Majors. If y'all love y'all some Jonathan Majors so much, where the fuck was y'all when Magazine Dreams came out? I didn't see y'all in the theater to go see it. The movie made $700,000 at the box office. 700,000. So where the hell are y'all? The same ones that's out here complaining about Jonathan Majors. I guarantee y'all wasn't up in the movies opening weekend to go see Magazine Dreams. The movie flopped. So it's easy to jump into the Matrix and say all this other stuff because y'all want clicks, likes, and attention. But if you're not actually going to walk the walk instead of talking the talk, then shut the fuck up. And I like Jonathan Majors. But for the most part, this whole thing about him coming out with the bit, I arrest you. This files on the I was like, okay, stop with all that Harvard psychobabble and just be like, you did something, you put pause on her. Don't say that I arrest you. That falls under aggression. Like, fuck out of here with that. So, because you sound like a damn idiot. But look, that's who Megan Good want to get with, and that's who she married. So now you stuck with him until he aggress you. But the thing with Tenoch, he hasn't been accused of anything. I mean, he's been accused, he hasn't been found guilty. And last time I checked, in this country, I mean, unless you under a current administration where due process and rules don't apply, people are mostly innocent until proven guilty. I could have sworn that was the whole situation. So we're not going to sit up here and be like, well, Tenoch did it. None of y'all was in the room where he allegedly did the things that his girlfriend is saying that he's doing. And these days we know that people could just run out here and say stuff. And just because they say it doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. So I'm sure, like I said before, Disney have their private investigators because they got a whole lot of money. They could spend all that $200 million in that horrible ass Disney Snow White movie. Trust and believe they can dig into the chest, the war chest, and dig up enough money for their private investigators to look into Tenoch and all the other allegations that his girlfriend has made, which she hasn't moved forward with it. So what? Are we just supposed to just be like, okay, so now we're at a stalemate. Nothing has moved in regards to this case, so we can't use him anymore. He's not allowed to work because she made an allegation. If he did what he did, then she should have pushed and moved forward in this with this case. That's the way I see it. If you're saying this man who you was in a relationship with assaulted you, then why haven't you moved forward with it? You just made an allegation and just kept it as that. You should have been out here doing all the same thing that these women out here is doing towards Diddy and Jay-Z and all these other artists. You should have been doing that to Tenoch. If that man did what he said, you said he did, that he assaulted you. And he has like a kinky sexual fetish or whatever the case is. Whatever, child, I want to know what that is. Because Tenoch, he can get it. And that's not me just saying it because it's like, okay, he's cute or whatever the case is. But for the fact of the matter is, I'm going to base off the legalities of the situation. So you got to follow the law, unless it's different down in Mexico versus it is in the United States because he is Mexican and he is a Mexican actor. So that's how I'm looking at it. I'm trying to look at it from a legal standpoint and not necessarily a he said, she said standpoint. So that, in my opinion, is the reason why I feel that Jonathan Majors is being treated differently than Tenoch, because these are two brown men in a situation that it would be controversial under the whole Disney thing. Oh my God, I totally forgot that I was supposed to, and I closed the damn window, that we're supposed to go through the list of thespians that are going to appear in this damn movie. So according to reports, so far, the people who are going to be a part of the Avengers chairs is the following. So let's pull up the situation. So we have Robert Downey Jr. here looking like Charlie Chaplin, which he already played him in the movie. We have Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman from Fantastic Four, Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, aka Captain America, Sebastian Stan as the Winter Soldier, which I know some people were upset that Sebastian Stan was mentioned because they were like, people thought that he actually was going to die in Thunderbolts. And they feel like that y'all probably shot the water a little too early by revealing people who are going to come back as these characters when we should have just waited until Thunderbolts comes out before we know who's in what. But maybe, who knows? Maybe this Sebastian Stan that's in this film might be a variant. I don't know. But yeah, I do agree that y'all should have probably kept that hidden, like certain actors. Letitia Wright is Shuri, the Black Panther, which I know people's like, so this is mean that we're not getting another Black Panther. I think she's probably going to be in this film, but we are going to get another Black Panther right after Secret Wars. Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, Wyatt Russell as John Walker, the U.S. agent from Thunderbolts, Tenoch Huerta Mejia as Namor, Evan Moss-Backrack as Ben Grimm from The Thing, well, The Thing from Fantastic Four, I should say, Simu Liu as Shang-Chi, which, hello, why haven't we gotten another Shang-Chi movie? It's been far too long since we've gotten another Shang-Chi movie. Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova, who is, the Black Widow. Kelsey Grammer as Beast. Hopefully they do him in the makeup and all the stuff. I did not like the Beast that they did him in the Marvels. I did not like how that looked. It looked a little too CGI for me and a little too fake. Lewis Pullman as Sentry from Thunderbolts. You're not supposed to reveal that. I don't know why they put that in there because Lewis Pullman was actually supposed to be known as Bob. But that was the rumor that he was actually Sentry. But they revealed it. So Spoiler alert. But I think there's always been a rumor that Lewis Pullman was going to play Sentry. Because remember, at one point, oh my God, what the hell's his name? The Asian guy that was in The Walking Dead that Negan killed. He was supposed to be playing Sentry, but then he stepped away from. He didn't end up doing it. So then, of course, Danny Ramirez is the Falcon. Hopefully, they do more with him than they did in the last Captain America movie because I felt like he was underused. Joseph Quinn is Johnny Storm, aka the Human Torch. David Harbour is Red Guardian. Winston Duke is M'Baku. You know, I love me some M'Baku. I'm glad we get him in this freaking movie. But what is they going to have him? What are they going to have him do? Instead, what is like I'm in the color purple? What are they going to have him do? Hannah John came in as Ghost in Thunderbolts. Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Patrick Stewart as Professor X. Ian McKellen as Magneto. Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler. Rebecca Romijn as Mystique. James Marsden as Cyclops, Channing Tatum as Gambit, Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic from Fantastic Four, and Robert Downey Jr. as Victor Von Doom. And I think after all of that, when we got all the 24, I think the only three that was missing, well, we already knew about Robert Downey Jr. because he was the first one that was named. We didn't get Channing Tatum and we didn't get Pedro Pascal because I was like, how are you going to announce all the other people from Fantastic Four, but Pedro's name is not up there? It didn't make sense. And Channing Tatum as Gambit, I love Channing Tatum as Gambit in the last Deadpool and Wolverine movie. So I'm actually excited that they're bringing him back in this role. Hopefully they utilize him a lot more. Just like I need justice for Cyclops because the way that he was treated in those Bryan Singer movies pissed me off. But I guess who knows? Maybe James Marsden would refuse to sleep with him. That's probably why he didn't get all those damn roles. And maybe he was a little too old for, Bryan Singer, allegedly. Because you act like that the only X-Men that mattered was fucking Wolverine, and that used to piss me off. And I love me some Hugh Jackman, but he was not the only person that should have been getting a lot of shine in that damn movie. The way that y'all treated James Marsden just pissed me off in the whole thing. So I'm really hoping they give Cyclops a lot more to do. I'm hoping that while we haven't heard from Storm, where's Halle Berry? Maybe she'll show up in Secret Wars. I don't know. And I think we are getting more characters because there's some people that said that, what about Spider-Man? Why haven't we heard from Spider-Man? Why is Tom Holland not being announced and all this other stuff? Because people need to realize, or maybe you don't know this, the next Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man 4, is going to be it's an in-between film. So it's a wedge between Doomsday and Secret Wars. So we get Doomsday, Spider-Man 4, and then Secret Wars. So I do feel like Spider-Man is going to appear in Secret Wars. And I do feel like we're going to get a lot more names that are going to be added to the repertoire down the road. So that's what all that is. I'll be on my shit when it comes to the comic book movies. So I want to ask you all, what do you guys think of this story in regards of the latest on the Avengers and everything going on, especially when it comes to Tenoch and people saying that it's not fair that you don't have that you gave Tenoch a role in the film, but not Jonathan Majors. I gave you all my opinions on why the reason why they moved on with his character and why he's not going to be in the movies, the future movies. But I would definitely want to hear from you all. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below.